YouTube, what's going on, guys? Courage here, bringing you another video here today on my channels. And listen, this one is another tier list. You guys loved the previous tier lists I've done, and we're going with a Warzone theme for this one. Warzone has had so many friggin' weapons, too many to keep track of, that honestly in here I'm probably gonna not even know what some of these are, if you want me to be completely honest with you. Today I'm gonna be going through and rating weapons from S tier to D tier to the lowest tier that there is. I've seen some other YouTubers make their weapon tier list, but I'm gonna put my own spin on this today. So S tier, I'm thinking like the premium top tier. A is like you can absolutely use it, it's a strong gun, you get away with it. B is like, you know what, it's pretty solid. If you're using it, it's not the worst decision. C is like, oh, you're going off meta, and D is like, well, you suck. Let's just get right into it. Starting off with the shotguns, the R9O. The Dragon's Breath R9O shotgun was absolutely one of the best at a time in Warzone. It's still very good. I still think the R9O would fit in kind of the B tier category. Like, you can totally still use this gun as a secondary. There are far worse options for secondaries to have. For example, the 7.25. I think this gun is utter cheeks in Warzone. This thing destroyed in Modern Warfare for so long. Right now in Warzone, it's the Tim the Tap Man of shotguns. The Origin 12. I think the Origin 12 falls right where the R9O is. They both had their times where they dominated. They both have fallen down a bit. For me, they can't be pushed into A or S tier based off of some of the other weapons that are out there right now. But a B tier for the Origin 12, still solid. The VLK Rogue. I'm going to put the VLK Rogue in D tier. Listen, the gun's ass. There's no other way to put it. The gun's pretty ass. It has moments where it can one shot. There's been some cheeky builds with it, but look at the history of Warzone. The VLK Rogue's never been up there. The Jack 12, I'm gonna put it C, just because anytime there's an automatic shotgun, you can use it, right? Any auto shotty, I feel like, can be up there. That auto shotty, definitely better than the 7.25 and VLK Rogue. The AN94. The AN, it's an interesting one because for me, it's like the AN and the AMAX to me are pretty similar, except the AN's just far worse. I'm gonna put the AN at a C tier type weapon. There's worse ARs out there, but currently the AN in its history has never been that gun. Now the AMAX, I'm gonna put at A tier in Warzone. It was up there, it's still up there, and you can totally use this gun, and many players do. The reason I'm having an S tier is because currently in Warzone, there are some weapons that are just better than it. The M16. And we'll get into that, don't worry. Up next, the GRAW. Man, the GRAW, Season 1 of Warzone, bit of Season 2, S tier far and away, no doubt in my mind. You're stupid if you don't think it's S tier. Currently, though, I put the GRAW at a B tier gun. Can you use it? Yeah. Is it terrible? No. But does it get outclassed by other things? Yeah, that's why it's in the B tier. Duh. The Ram 7. I think the Ram 7's better than the AN94. I don't think it's near the same level as the AMAX, so it goes as the same level as the GRAW. Pretty simple. The Kilo. The Kilo, Nick has been saying that the Kilo's back. The Kilo might be good again. He's probably gonna make a video about it. Keep an eye on Nick's channel. It might be out already, honestly, but I think the Kilo falls between B and A. Do I think it's as good as the AMAX? Maybe not, but I still think it falls in the A tier because I think it's better than the GRAW and the Ram 7. So that's where it goes. The Oden, man, the Oden. This gun, it pumps. It has a high damage per shot, but it really struggles from long range. Mid-range, this gun can shred if you're accurate. But overall, I'm going to go as far as to say that this gun for me is C tier. You might not agree with me, but if I have a choice between a GRAW, a Ram 7, and an Oden, I'm going with this. The M13, still a great gun. This is tough because this goes between B. Is it B and A for me? No, it's not on the same level as those. This is a B tier gun. It's a high B tier gun. The M4, also a high B tier gun. Previously was an S tier weapon. Far in the beginning, not now. The FR 5.56. There's been some cheeky build with a single shot and it being pretty good like the DMR. As a burst weapon itself, D tier. If it's a burst weapon, D tier, bro. Now, single shot, could you move it up? Yeah, but I haven't used a single shot and I heard it's pretty meh, so D tier. AK-47 has never had a great moment in this game. It's just a worse version of the AMAX and the AN, in my opinion. So for that reason, I'm going D tier for the AK. SM and FM, if you don't agree. The Scar in the history of Warzone. It's a weapon that chunks, but again, has never been a standout. It's another D tier weapon. Next is the FAL. Again, one time, that gun. When I look at this list right now, I personally think the FAL could still be at B, it just struggles in some of the different ranges. Like if I have an FAL versus a Ram 7, a Graw, an M13, an M4, unless I get lucky with some of my shots, I'm going to put that at C tier. The Farah, this gun's ass, D tier. LC10, this is one that I feel like has been kind of pushing up the ranks a little bit if I'm not mistaken. The Farah ass, the LC10 is a little bit better. I'm going to put it at C tier. Or is it higher than C? Fuck, I don't know. I'm going to put it in B tier. Because this gun, I feel like, is just outside the meta. ISO SMG. Talk about a weapon that I wish was better, as well as the Vector, man. I wish these were better. The rate of fire is just too high. And you know what? In Warzone, you need those bigger magazine clips. It's really tough to chain together kills with these, like when you need a squad wipe. So for me, the Vector, C tier, ISO, C tier. They're not like the worst guns ever, but they're just not great, you know? Actually, comparing these to the other guns, D tier, Uzi, D tier. Sorry. I think all these guns are pretty ass. The M91 LMG. On the LMG ratings, not great. This thing's a big, clunky. That's me if I was a gun. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not, like, if I was a gun, I'd be the M91. I'm just fucking big and bulky, dude. Okay? And I'm 6'5". The Striker 45. This one has, again, some cheeky 10 bullet magazine bullshit. But overall, we wanted the UMP 45, and we got its stupid little brother, the Striker. The gun's ass. D tier. P90. Oh, the P90s. These next ones are all tough. I'm going to put the P90 at C, the AUG at C, the PP Bison at C, because I do think that these are all better than the SMGs I put in here. The MP7, I'm going to go as far as to say it's still B tier. Bro, that MP7 is pinpoint accurate. Pinpoint accurate. Still pretty decent close range. The MP5, though, that's an A tier weapon. You can still use the MP5. Is it beaten out by a couple other weapons out there? Yes. But if I'm using a hipfire MP5, it's still a great gun. And to be honest, this gun would still be meta if it wasn't for the FFAR and it wasn't for the MAC-10. My honest answer. The combat knife. What? D tier. The Riot Shield. I'm going to put the Riot Shield at C tier strictly because it can block your back. How about that? And you're probably wondering, wow, Jack, still nothing in S tier? Bro, S tier is the peak of the fucking mountain, baby. I'm not putting just any shit up there, okay? PKM. Of the LMGs, an actually pretty decent one. You can be caught with some sleeper builds. Some sleeper builds with the PKM. Cali sticks. Cali sticks are our first S tier weapon. These things kill in an instant. Of the melee weapons, S tier. If you have to run the melee weapon, it is the S tier melee weapon. Prove me wrong, you fucking can't. The RPG, I'm gonna put it at C tier. It can blow up cars. It's pretty accurate, and it is fun exploding people. So the Pila, I'm gonna put the Pila in the overall listings below that. The Strela, though, or the Joker. Listen, I just think the Joker's badass. But it's an ass. Overall, it's an ass gun. I've gotten way more kills with the rocket launchers than the Joker. I had one cool Joker clip at Top Stadium. That's about it. The Strela, better than the RPG in my opinion. If I'm not mistaken, the Strela is the one that you shoot and it just instantly hits. I like the Strela on this list. The X16 pistol, ass cheeks. I want the X16 pistol to be thrown into a volcano and melted to ash. Also, Magnum had its premiere with Snake Shots. Snake Shots, S tier. S tier snake shot magnums. Oh, snake shots are nerfed and shit now. D tier, bottom class. The 1911 pistol. It's better than these two. C tier. Like in the pistol tiers, it's better than those two. C tier. The Deagle, dual Deagles, ass. Single Deagles, not nearly as good as other games. D tier. The M19, in my opinion, the best. Yeah, the M19 B tier. I'll put that there. The MG34, bulky, not good to use. The Renetti, dual Renettis, and even single Renettis, still good. I think because of how good single Renetti is, and I think because of how good dual Renettis is, I'm putting it at an A tier for pistols. Seriously, I'm putting it at a pistol A tier. Now we do some snipers. The AX50 on this list of S to, it used to be one of the top guns, but now there's been better snipers that have come out. Many better snipers. I would put the AX50 at a B. More than a usable gun. If it's on your class, you're like, hey, this is interesting. Like, look at all these guns. If someone's using any of these guns, I'm like, oh, they're going a bit off meta. They're still usable. You know, like the guns can still shred if you do well. Dragunov, I think the Dragunov has always been my least favorite gun in any game it's ever been in. Tell me I'm lying. I think the Dragunov has always been my least favorite gun in any game it's ever been in. Sorry. The HDR, I think the HDR, oof. See, I still put the HDR above the AX50. Rytech ass D tier. Fuck. I'm going to put the HDR at an A tier. Yeah, I'm going to put it at an A tier. I think the HDR is still better than the AX50. That's my opinion. I still think if you're running an HDR, it's still a very usable gun. With that being said, the Kar98K is S tier. It's an S tier gun. It's mobile. It's great to use. It's one-shot headshots for the most part. For me, that's an S tier weapon. The EBR-14, a gun that I think has a lot of potential. It's one that's cheeky, bro. It's like, if you know how to use it well, it can shred. But do I think it's in this level or this level? I think I'm gonna put this in C tier and put the Mark II carbine in D tier, because I'd rather use the EBR. You can cheese it more like the FAL over the Mark II. The Crossbow, explosive tip, pretty decent. Crossbow by itself, horrible weapon. The SKS, horrible weapon. Horrible weapon. The SA87, horrible weapon. I mean, a horrible weapon. The SPR, this is the SPR sniper, right? So I think the SPR is B. It was S tier. It was a hit scan sniper. It was above S tier. It was broken. They fixed it. Now it's B tier. All right, let's go through the last few Modern Warfare weapons. And we go again. So far, comment down below right now. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Up next, the Holger. The Holger. Oh man, the Holger. I think I'm gonna put the Holger at C tier because it's not as bad as these. It's really not. You can use the Holger a bit more than those. You can put a good Holger build together. People were using 100 bullet magazine Holger and getting the job done a bit. The Bruin at one point, S tier. Do I think the Bruin's at this caliber? No. I'm gonna put the Bruin at a B tier weapon right now. Up next, the Finn LMG, ass cheeks. Sorry, Finn LMG. You got a cool name. You're trash though. The Model 680 shotgun. Of all the shotguns in this, let's see. The R90, it's worse than that. The Origin 12, it's worse than that. The Jack 12, I'd say it's worse than that. I'm putting it at this bottom tier. And finally, the AS Val. AS Val is hovering between A and a B, but overall, I'm gonna put the AS Val at a B tier, but it's a higher B tier if you know how to use the gun well. All right, we are done with the Modern Warfare weapons, and now for the newer Cold War weapons. Some of these I definitely have less experience with, if I'm being completely honest with you. Oh, dual Diamatis. Wait, am I? Oh, Renetti's and Diamatis. Oh, Renetti's and Diamatis. Oh, I might have gotten it messed up. Sorry, this whole time I got Renetti mixed up, I think. Renetti should be B. Diamati should be A. Sorry, I got those mixed up. I fixed it now. Screw you. Without further ado, let's get into it. The Sigma Launcher, D tier. What? The RPG of Cold War. I'm gonna put it as similar to C. I don't even think I've ever used it. The Knife, D tier as well. Sledgehammer, haven't used it. Gonna say it's D tier. Wakizashi, don't know if I've seen it used, but I'm gonna put it C tier because it's a fucking sword. Deal with it. It's cool. Okay. The M79 Thumper. The Thumper of old is rolling over at its grave looking at this Thumper. D tier. The Hauer shotgun. I just don't think it's that good in this, man. I think the Hauer's not that good. I think the Gallo currently, of the shotties in the game, I think the Gallo is an A tier weapon. Of the shotguns currently in the game, the Gallo's an A tier weapon. Honestly, I've seen what Tim does with it. The Street Sweeper, I think it's right around the same caliber as that Jack 12. Anytime you have an auto shotty, it's going to be pretty damn decent. Simple as that. The 1911, this is the main Cold War pistol. It's better than this pistol, so C tier. There you go. That's my thought process on that. The Magnum, ass. Any game, any gun like that, ass. The Stoner is actually pretty good for an LMG. I think, genuinely, of the Cold War SMGs, I think the Stoner's the best. And because of that, I'm going to put it in B tier. Like, you can put together a good Stoner class and, like, make it a good gun. Really, you absolutely can. The RPD from Cold War. Haven't seen it used much. Gonna put it at D tier. M60, big, bulky, thick boy. Gonna put it at D tier. The M82 Sniper. I want there to be a powerful 50 cal that's just badass and shakes the room. That's not what this is. If you want the Modern Warfare 2 50 cal, that's not what this is. Look the other way. D tier. Okay, the Tundra. Tim the Tap Man swears by this weapon. Tim thinks this gun is so good. I can't say the same. So this might piss off Tim and his viewers, but I'm putting the Tundra at C tier. This is a C tier gun. It's not a B tier weapon. It's a C tier weapon. Sorry. The Pellington, D tier. Did you even think that was going to be an option? Absolute D tier. The DMR. The DMR. Shit, man. It's still good. It's not what it once was. Like, I think you can still use the DMR and do well, which is kind of what the category for this has been. So I'm going to put it there. Was the DMR once S tier? Yeah. The AUG. It's been nerfed. It still is a good weapon. I think the AUG is still an A tier gun, but the M16 right now, this is the broken weapon of Warzone currently. The M16 is the crown jewel of War. I take that back. We're not done yet. The Type 63, a gun that you can totally use and still do well with, but I think it's worse than the DMR. I'm putting it at C tier. All right, we're getting down to our final Cold War weapons. We have the ARs and the SMGs left. The MP5, the Cold War MP5. Shit, because there's already the Modern Warfare MP5. On this list, I feel like the Cold War MP5, you can make an argument for A tier, but if I can choose between the Modern Warfare MP5 and the Cold War MP5, I'm picking the Modern Warfare MP5. The Milano, D tier weapon. Every time I get the Milano, it feels like I'm shooting people with paper fucking mache bullets. The AK-74U, in Cold War itself, S tier gun. Brilliant gun. In this damn game, C tier. The KSP-45, a D tier gun. The Bullfrog. Bullfrog's currently an A tier weapon. If you have a Bullfrog on your class, you're on that tier just below. Just below. Now, here's what I'm going to say. The MAC-10, even though it's worse than the FFAR, of the SMGs, it is the S tier weapon currently. If I could have any submachine gun, it would be the MAC-10, which makes it an S tier weapon. Just because another gun is so broken that it fits into that category, that's a bit different. Groza, I think some people sleep on the Groza. It's above C and D tier. I think it fights between A and B, to be honest with you. But I'm going to put it in B tier. When I look at these, like a Cold War MP5, a Groza, a GRAW, an LC-10, a normal M4, these are all still very viable, good guns. The FFAR, what else would I put it as? What else could I put it as? It's an S tier weapon. It's the gun to have in your inventory right now. It's incredible from close range. It's incredible from mid range. And if you're great at the game and controlling your recoil, it's still quite good from long range. They've nerfed it twice. It's still meta. Fix a damn gun. The Krig 6, S tier if this was normal Cold War multiplayer. It's not. It's Warzone. It struggles from range. It's not as good as these guns. It's a C tier weapon. The AK-47 from Cold War, D tier weapon. I'm gonna go as far as D tier. I'm gonna do it. I know I'm blocking half of these with my camera, but deal with it. The XM4, the Cold War XM4. It's worse than the M4 of Warzone, which I put in B tier, or Modern Warfare, but it's better than a D tier weapon. I think it fits right next to the Krig perfectly. The QBZ is a D tier gun in Warzone. 2 guns left. I've already put in. I put the Farah as a D tier gun, I think. Farah 83, and the LC-10 was in B tier. There we have it. My Warzone weapons tier list. I only gave 5 items. S tier currently. Tally sticks, Car 98, Cold War M16, the MAC-10, and the FFAR. The A tiers, the AMAX, the Kilo, Modern Warfare MP5, the HDR, Diamatti, Gallo, AUG, and Bullfrog. Let me know your guys' comments down below. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? How am I at these tier lists? What do you want to see more from tier lists? Do you guys want to see Call of Duty maps? Do you guys want to see a Call of Duty games tier list? Do you guys want to see other games tier lists? Do you guys want to see more food tier lists? Let me know down below. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you leave a like on this. Let's talk to you guys in the next one. All right? Peace.